Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and thank you for once again joining me as I continue my taste testing journey here on YouTube. I am excited about what we're about to do today because, as you guys know, throughout the last few weeks I have been tasting stuff that I'd never tasted before, pretty much for most of the last few weeks of episodes. There have been, of course, times when I've been trying things that I'm familiar with or at least have an idea about. But as I was thinking about this week's episode, I thought, gosh, what is something that has could have a unique ring to it in terms of topic, but then still find items that maybe I've never had before or maybe I'm not even familiar with. So I think I found it. Southern cooking is something that I'm very, very fond of. Comfort food of all types really play well with this guy in terms of my culinary experience. And I was watching some YouTube videos this past week that introduced me to some items that I thought, gosh, I need to try those myself, and I guess I'll try them for one of my episodes. And so today I think what we'll do is we'll call this one Unique Southern Delicacies or Unique Southern Dishes. But it might be something you're not expecting because I know that pretty much for everything on the slate today for me to be tasting, it's stuff I'd never heard of. And so I'm going to try it out for you, talk a little bit about it as we go. And, we'll see how this episode goes as a result. So as I was doing my research for this particular episode, I went down the rabbit trail of so many different ideas and so many different understandings of what these dishes are and where they come from. And so, again, with some of them, it's just, hey, I've got to try it out. And so we are going to be trying 5 different things today. 4 that are, they range from, yeah, I've heard of that, to what? And so that's going to be what we'll do here for this episode. So as we get started, I'm going to take a moment to also say that this will be the first episode where I actually prepare food. And so we'll see how that goes because I know that, you guys know I love to cook. And while I don't know that I'll describe anything that I do in this episode as cooking per se, and in terms of cooking with heat, I will say that I'm preparing a couple of these dishes, so we'll see what happens. I think I'll start with something familiar. As I looked at several different articles about Southern dishes or Southern items of food that are, uniquely Southern, I came across this first one, and it's one that I'm very familiar with, and that is deviled eggs. And so I think what we'll do is, while we're all mostly familiar with deviled eggs, I've never made them. I have consumed a fair amount in the course of my lifetime, but I have never tried making them, and so I'm going to. I have already hard-boiled some eggs in the Instant Pot, so I don't know if that's cheating, but 7 minutes is all it took, and let's take a look at how to put this together. Okay, so again, I am making deviled eggs for the first time, and what I did is I boiled the eggs, hard-boiled the eggs in the Instant Pot, and I'm sure people will give me grief for the fact that the yolks don't look 100%, fully hard-boiled, but I don't care. I've still got them here ready to use, the yolks from the eggs. That right there is some spicy mustard, and then we have some mayo. So we're going to start there and start mixing things up. So again, first time for me, so I'm going to figure this out as I go. Again, I've never cooked deviled eggs, and so I'm just going to start mixing things in, and we'll see how this goes. So I'm sure I'll get a lot of comments from people, could have done it differently or whatever the case might be, but that's all right. I'm open to the criticism. I'm open to learning. But yeah, I'll call this a first effort, and we'll see how it turns out. So going to keep mixing these ingredients, softening up the yolks, and you know, we'll see what happens here. We're starting to see the mixture come together and kind of soften out, smooth out, I should say, as all of these ingredients start to mix together and become at least what I'm used to seeing in a creamy consistency of the deviled eggs. So at this point right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some spices. So for myself, at least in the recipe that I looked at, I'm going to put in some kosher salt, just a little bit. I'm really trying not to overdo salting these days because there's a lot of other flavor out there besides salt. I'm adding some black pepper to the mix as well. And I've got a little bit of garlic powder that I'm going to sprinkle into the mixture right here, as you can see. So salt, black pepper, garlic powder, and I'm going to keep mixing. So, you know, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And again, it's probably not going to be perfect my first time out, but I don't know, man. I'm okay with it. All right, so I'm going to finish mixing up the mixture here, and then in a moment I'll start to put it in the egg yolks. So yeah, we'll keep working on it here in just a bit. All right, so I've got the mixture done to the point that I think it's going to get. Again, this is just a first attempt, so I'm going to set this aside for just a moment, and I'm going to bring into the picture the egg yolks. And here are the yolks that prepared earlier, and we're going to go ahead and put the mixture into the eggs themselves. Again, first time out, so we'll see how this looks. I'm sure there are people do fancy things like pipe it into the eggs themselves. I'm going to simply make them look rustic by placing the mixture into the eggs just with a spoon. And I'm not too worried about what it looks like because I'm going to be the one consuming them as part of the taste test. So that one there that I'm about to put down gets a little more, and I'm okay with that. So 2 more, and I did 3 eggs total. So when we're done, I'm sure that I'll do a number on the remaining eggs that are left to prepare. So we'll do this last one and put our filling in it. And again, I'm not going for pretty. What I am going for is delicious. And so I'll check it all out when it's time. And we'll put the final one down. Now, again, we can argue, you know, aesthetic, what it all looks like and so forth, but I don't know, for my first time making hard-boiled eggs, I'm pretty happy with it. Now traditionally you finish the eggs with the with paprika, so I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle a little bit on. We'll see how this turns out because I use paprika for a lot of stuff, and I don't know, I just like it. I like the smoky flavor. And there you go. Now, some of you guys have been paying attention to my social media these last few weeks, and got me some hot sauce. So, for at least a couple of them, I'm going to come in with a couple of dots of the spicy stuff, and we'll see how that feels during the taste test. So, all right. Deviled eggs, first attempt. I'm feeling pretty good. All that's left to do now is taste them. Now that we've prepared the deviled eggs, all that's left to do is, as I said, taste test. And so I'm going to go with the one without the habanero hot sauce that I put on. Kind of start with one of those, and you know, just take it plain, so to speak. Here it is, the deviled egg that I myself prepared, first time ever. And I didn't taste the filling beforehand, which may end up being the mistake I make. But let's find out. Yeah, like I said, over the course of my life, I'll just tell you, at work, I'm a corporate trainer by trade. And so back when we could have classes in person, potlucks were a thing. And I'm shameless when it comes to these bad boys right here. And having never made them, you know, people would sign up and talk about what they wanted to bring for the potluck. And, you know, inevitably, I would casually mention, hey, does anybody make deviled eggs? And there would always be at least one person. Yes. And I'd be like, man, it'd be great to have deviled eggs. I mean, you know, you don't have to, but, you know. They're really good. And yeah, I'd get deviled eggs. And no lie, I was shameless. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting the same flavor. The recipe I used is obviously a standard recipe for deviled eggs. I tasted in the yolk mixture, and yeah. So now let's try the one where I used my habanero sauce that goes on everything, and we'll see what happens. Bon appetit. That hot sauce, man. Listen, nobody pays me to do this, but if you've not had Yellowbird habanero hot sauce, habanero condiment, you're really missing out. I don't know, maybe I can get them to sponsor me at some point, but their serrano peppers sauce, delicious. And then you graduate to the habanero, or as my father would have said, habanero, because love you, Dad. There's also a ghost chili one, and I have graduated to that one, and it is delicious. But I haven't brought it into the house because I'm not ready to die. So hopefully soon, after I finish this particular bottle of Yellowbird habanero condiment, that'll be next. So if you haven't had it, HEB's got it if you're here in San Antonio. I'm not sure where else you can find it. They're pretty pricey online, but worth the price, I would say. So look them up and buy a batch because it's delicious. When I dance on the first one can only hope that the remainder are going to be good. Apparently, another element of Southern cooking, and I only read this in one article, so I don't know if it's true, but Coca Cola in a glass bottle. Apparently it's a thing. Ooh, that's good. That's really good. All right, so dish one out of the way. Deviled eggs. And now I know how to make them, so I'm not going to have to ask for them anymore, I guess. Maybe I should make a tray someday when we can gather again. All right, so dish number two. Again, I looked up lists of Southern, uniquely Southern foods. And these are items that the ones we're doing today they kept coming up. And I thought, okay, well, I'm finding things I've not heard of, that I've never had. And while I have had deviled eggs, I had to do it because I've never made it. And so, success. Which brings me to dish number 2, which is simply the usage of this product right here, pimento cheese spread. I have seen this stuff growing up and throughout my life, but I can tell you honestly, I have never tried it. I have no idea what this tastes like. And so I'm going to put together a simple pimento cheese spread sandwich, and we're going to give it a shot. So let's take a look at how it's made. Okay, so as we begin this process of putting together the pimento cheese sandwich, I am going to use one of my favorite types of bread here at HEB. You can find this loaf right here. It's split top butter bread is what it's called. Trying to get it in the shot there. The split top butter bread is what I'm going to be using for this sandwich. And you know, just since this is a taste test, I'm going to go ahead and take one piece of bread. I've split it in half, and I'll build a sandwich as a half sandwich since it's for tasting. So first time doing pimento cheese spread. I've got it right here, and so you know, gonna give it a try and open it up, and here's what it looks like in the container. I gotta tell you, I mean, from the looks of it, I'm okay with it so far. From an aesthetic standpoint, I'm not minding what I see, but again, flavor will be the ultimate deciding factor. I knew of pimento cheese spread. I was just never one that was. I wasn't around it. I never had it to partake in growing up, and so, you know, all the recipes that I looked at in terms of how to make the sandwich, and I don't know if that's considered a recipe when, you know, you're basically just putting it on a piece of bread, but it looked to be a pretty generous helping of the pimento cheese spread on the sandwich itself. So I've got this sort of OCD tendency of wanting to make sure that each part of the sandwich bread is covered, and so there you go. Got my pimento cheese on the piece of bread there, and so now I'm gonna take the other half, and there it is, pimento cheese sandwich ready for tasting. So yeah, let's give it a whirl. All right, so pretty straightforward in terms of how to put together a simple pimento cheese sandwich. And other recipes I came across instituted the use of cream cheese. You can put cream cheese in the pimento spread, mix it up, and obviously it would make it much richer. There were recipes for a grilled pimento cheese spread sandwich, which looked amazing. But for the most part, what I saw was, again, simple untoasted bread with the pimento cheese spread. And so let's try it this way, and we'll see. But I mostly smell the bread. So, all right, let's taste and see. Yeah. Oh man. That is something. My goodness. Oh man. As my book club friends would say, laws, yes. M-O-O-N, that smells pimento. That spells pimento cheese sandwich. You had to have been part of book club to understand. You had to have read The Stand to understand. Man, this is exciting. Let me tell you why this excites me. The fact that it tastes great. Oh my goodness. As I was researching pimento spread And I haven't even talked about what goes into it because I don't remember other than the pimento peppers that go into the spread itself, the cheese. And I came across recipes for how to make it myself. But listen, why would I? Here's why it excites me. I have recipes that I came across that use pimento cheese spread for like eggs and stuff. And so, goodness gracious, the possibilities are... Wait a minute. I just got an idea. I swear I wasn't going to do this. Oh. Oh man. Listen. I could stop this episode right here. This is one of those that I knew that when I filmed this, it was going to be my dinner. And it was either going to be a really bad dinner or things were going to go well. Now, I'm only 2 dishes in, and the most unique stuff is still to come. So, we'll see. But listen, pimento cheese spread, a winner. An absolute winner. I love it. And this is going to get used. In fact, I'm already thinking about researching that breakfast recipe I saw. So I'll post on my Facebook tomorrow. As you guys know, I will. And let you know what I came up with. I am so happy right now. Seriously. Just absolutely thrilled. Fantastic. All right. Dish number 3. This one is gonna knock you for a loop. And it involves canned pears. Let's take a look. Okay, so as we start this next dish, as I mentioned a moment ago, it's unique. It's one that I had never heard of prior to doing my research on Southern treats and Southern foods this past week. But when I came across it, it was actually sent to me by a couple of friends, and I just thought, you know what? Why the heck not? I mean, let's give it a try. It makes no sense, but yeah. Like I showed you guys in the beginning of this particular segment, it involves pears, and canned pears at that. So I'm going to, off camera, pull out some pear halves, or open the can of pear halves. Kind of, you'll see it right here, sort of off to the left. So what I'm going to do, these are pear halves, and they're in the heavy syrup, and that's what the recipe calls for, and this is what it is. Usually they'll use a bed of lettuce to sit the pears on. All I have in the house right now is spinach, because I don't really use lettuce for a lot of things. I prefer to use spinach in my sandwiches. That was something I learned from someone very dear to me. Yeah, she made sandwiches with spinach, and I thought, okay, well, we're married, and so yeah, I guess that's what I'm going to have on my sandwiches. I wasn't going to put a bit of spinach down for this one, because again, it's just a tasting. But here's where it gets weird. The recipe calls for the pear halves in heavy syrup, and then, you know what, I'm just gonna add the ingredient, and let you guys decide what you think. So we're gonna put a dollop of mayo, yes, mayo, on the pear, and I'm gonna do 2 because We're going to do this for real. And it just calls for a dollop of regular mayo on the pear. Some of you are already like questioning my sanity and whether or not I'm being serious about this stuff. I'm being serious about this stuff. This is what the recipe called for. The third ingredient and final ingredient in most cases, and I'll explain what I mean by that in just a bit. Sharp cheddar, right on top. Southern pear salad. I can post the recipes in case you guys don't believe me. Just a touch of sharp cheddar goes on top. And that's it. That's the pear salad that I found in my research of Southern delicacies. There are recipes that say you could put a maraschino cherry on top. Not a fan of maraschino cherries. I love fresh cherries. Found that out on one of my first trips to Washington State. But I wasn't going to buy a whole jar of maraschino cherries just for the sake of, you know, these two little pieces of pear with mayo and cheese. But yeah, you can add that if you want. I'm sure it adds a whole different level of, a whole different flavor element, a very sweet one. But yeah, so there you go, pear salad. And all that's left now is to taste it. So here we go. Yeah, you saw what just happened. You saw what I just did. And it was that dish, pear salad, mayo, sharp cheddar, article after article after article as I researched Southern dishes and Southern foods. It kept popping up, and I thought, yeah, I mean, it had been sent to me by a couple of friends, and I thought, well, I mean, that was the inspiration for this episode, to be honest. And, you know, I ran down several different videos and such of people trying Southern dishes, and none of them tried this one, but I'm going to. So here goes. Again, it doesn't make any sense on paper. Pear have, mayo, cheese. Here we go. Wow. I'm glad I made two. This is amazing. So you get the sweetness of the pear that's been in that heavy syrup. And if you like canned pears like that, I love canned fruit and syrup. I don't eat it as much. In fact, this is probably the first can of sweet pears, or, you know, canned pears that I've gotten in years. The mayo, I don't know. I don't know what happens when the syrup and the mayo combine, and then the cheese sort of rounds it out. I am flabbergasted at what I'm tasting here. It's amazing. I'm really digging this. This is cool. The mayo, I have no words. This is completely unexpected. I literally thought this is where the episode goes off the rails. This is the moment that it's going to stop making sense. No. Pears, mayo, cheese. Who knew? If you've had this, if you're familiar, please comment below. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I am shock-o-ramen. Seriously. Absolutely shock-o-ramen. So, yeah. I'm going to take a moment. I'll be right back. So, a couple of minutes have passed, and Yeah, I'm still shocked. I just can't believe how good that was. Just amazing. All right, on to item number 4. This one, again, appeared several times in my research, and I'd never heard of it. And it involves a Coca Cola, and it has to be in a glass bottle according to everything that's talked about and everything that's on the internet. And salted peanuts. You can already guess what's about to happen, and if you can't, then you're just not paying attention. Everything that I read said it has to be a glass bottle of Coke, and so I was able to track this down as I was at the store earlier prepping for this episode. And so I'm going to make some room because what this is Coke and salted peanuts. You put the salted peanuts in the soda and it explodes. No, that's not what's going to happen. That's Mentos. As you can see, I'm creating space in the bottle itself. And fresh batch of peanuts. I eat this stuff like it's going out of style. I love peanuts. I hear they're healthy. I don't know. But I'm a big fan. So, fresh package ready to roll. And here is the Coke. And I'm going to put a few into my hand. And what you do is exactly what you're thinking. You put the peanuts into a bottle of Coke. I'm going to put a few more because everything that I watched, it seemed to be a decent amount. And so again, they're going into the Coca-Cola. And yeah, so I have no idea, no clue. But you've got the saltiness of the peanuts and the Coca-Cola. I don't know if you're supposed to like let it sit for a bit or what, but when in the South. Immediately I got a mouth, whoa. Yeah. Who knew? Immediately I get the peanuts into my mouth from the soda. And I don't know if I'm supposed to wait. And you know, I'm not going to do this all the time, but I get it. I get it. The saltiness of the peanuts sort of goes away in the soda. I'm digging it. It doesn't make sense. Excuse me. I like it. I like it. Do you know? Have you tried this? Have you done it? Peanut. Comment below. Let me know. Yeah. If you watch my Mogo Mogo episode from last time, that was the first drink I had to chew. And drink number 2 that I've had to chew. I'm gonna finish it. All right. Who knew? Southern dishes, unique Southern dishes I'd never heard of. Well, deviled eggs I heard of. Made them for the first time for this episode. Pretty proud. That went well. Pimento cheese sandwich. Winner. Absolute winner. I'll be using pimento cheese for other stuff soon. And then we tried the amazingly crazy pear salad. Pears and heavy syrup, dollop of mayo, cheese. And it works. And then peanuts and Coke. I didn't hate anything about that. So as we prepare to get out of here, thank you again for stopping by. I am gonna close out with a fifth and final dish as I start to sign off. And I don't know if this is just a southern thing. I was trying to find like a sweet potato pie or something like that, but I wasn't able to locate one where I went. But I know that whether in the South or elsewhere, sometimes a nice little piece of sheet cake can do the trick. This appears to be vanilla with a chocolate frosting. And so I think I've earned this piece of cake. That's good. I didn't make it. I don't bake yet. But I will say, again, thank you for joining me one more time. There'll be future episodes of these if my stomach survives everything I've put into it today. But yeah, dude, bruh, this was fantastic. I had a blast. I'm gonna keep looking for things like this to try and talk about with you. And all you got to do is come on back. Give the YouTube channel a subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. There's a bell notification that you can click on that will let you know when I post episodes, so you can check them out. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my channel. I'm over 30 people at this point, which one person more is a win. Thank you all for that. Thank you for checking me out on Facebook. Comment below. Tell me what you want me to try. I would love to hear from you. Which reminds me, I want to give a shout out to my friends at Con Culture Podcast for their awesome shout out about my YouTube channel this past week on their show. And Trey, if you're watching, yes, I take suggestions. So I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear from all of you. What are some things you'd like me to try? But you know the rule, not balut. And yeah, as always, remember, you're awesome, you're amazing, and the world's a better place because you are in it. Be well, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.